Welcome, intermediate second-year political science students. Let's jump right into this special Mega Education Explainer. Today, we're taking what is usually a dense, overwhelming summary of constitutional law and transforming it into your ultimate, high-yield study tool. The Constitution is a brilliant blueprint, right? And understanding the role of the President of India is absolutely fundamental to grasping our entire political system. Think of the presidency not just as an office, but as a complete constitutional life cycle. We're going to break it down step by step so you can lock in these concepts and totally ace your exams. Here's our constitutional roadmap for today. We'll track the complete life cycle of the president's office, starting with election and term, moving into executive and legislative powers, then financial, judicial, and diplomatic roles. After that, we hit the emergency powers, the impeachment process, and finally wrap up with essential articles to remember. Let's dive in. Section 1, Election and Term, How the Journey Begins. Okay, so how does one actually get the job of president under Articles 54 and 55? Well, the president is elected indirectly by an electoral college. But watch out, here's a classic exam trap that trips up so many students. Notice the specific wording. The Electoral College consists exclusively of the elected members of parliament, that's both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and the elected members of the state legislative assemblies, which critically includes Delhi and Puducherry. Nominated members absolutely do not get a vote here. Once a candidate secures the position and takes the oath of office under Article 60, how long do they serve? A strict 5 years. Article 56 sets this exact term of office, providing a stable, predictable timeline for the highest office in the land. Section 2, Executive and Legislative Powers, basically the CEO of the nation. Now that the president is elected, let's look at the day-to-day mechanisms of power. Under Articles 53, 74, 75, 77, and 78, the president acts as the structural keystone of the government. Just think about the sheer scope of their executive reach. They single-handedly appoint the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. But it doesn't stop there, not even close. They appoint state governors, judges, the Attorney General, the Comptroller and Auditor General, and the election commissioners. Literally every major administrative pillar of the Indian state is anchored by a presidential appointment. But hey, the president isn't just some executive figurehead. Under Articles 85 through 87, 111, and 123, they wield immense influence over the legislative process itself. They hold the power to summon and prorogue parliament. They even have the ultimate authority to dissolve the Lok Sabha. And crucially, no bill becomes a law until the president gives their official assent. When parliament isn't in session, they can even promulgate ordinances, effectively creating immediate temporary laws. Talk about influence. Section 3, Financial, Judicial, and Diplomatic Powers, the purse, mercy, and the global face of the nation. What's truly fascinating here is how the president influences both money and justice at the exact same time. On the financial side, which is governed by Articles 112, 117, and 280, the president holds the national purse strings, the annual budget presented with the president's recommendation. If the government wants to introduce a money bill, they need the president's prior recommendation just to bring it to the floor. Plus, they appoint the Finance Commission. Then, over on the judicial side, Article 72 gives the president the ultimate power of mercy. They can grant pardons, reprieves, respites, remissions, or even suspend or commute punishments. It is a profound, life-altering power. Globally and defensively, the president is literally the face and the shield of India. They appoint our ambassadors abroad and officially receive foreign diplomats right here at home. Internationally, they represent the sovereign state of India. And perhaps most importantly for national security, the president is the supreme commander of the defense forces, officially appointing the chiefs of the Army, Navy, and Air Force. Section 4. The Emergency Powers, Managing Constitutional Crises. So the crucial question is, what actually happens when the normal constitutional machinery faces a severe crisis? Well, this breakdown is incredibly high yield for your exams, so definitely take a mental screenshot right now. Notice how distinct the triggers are for the 3 types of emergencies. A national emergency under Article 352 is triggered by extreme physical threats, war, external aggression, or armed rebellion. Then we have Article 356, commonly known as President's Rule, which is a state emergency triggered when the constitutional machinery within a specific state completely fails. Finally, there's the financial emergency under Article 360, declared when India's financial stability is fundamentally threatened. Section 5, the impeachment process, the constitutional exit strategy. Now, despite all those massive emergency, legislative, and executive powers we just talked about, the president is not above the law. Article 61 lays out a very strict procedural sequence for removal. The process can only be triggered for one specific reason: violation of the Constitution. If that occurs, the impeachment process can begin in either House of Parliament, the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha. But getting this impeachment to pass is intentionally super difficult. It requires a massive 2/3 majority. And pay close attention to the wording here for your exams. It's not just a majority of those present and voting. No, it requires a 2/3 majority of the total membership of each house. This brilliantly illustrates the ultimate check on this incredibly powerful office, ensuring that a president can only be removed through a near unanimous, undeniable consensus of the legislature. Oh, and before we recap, watch out for this trick question on your political science exams. Sometimes questions will try to suggest that the president holds residuary powers to deal with unforeseen circumstances. Make sure you keep this completely clear. Residuary legislative powers do not belong to the president at all. Under Article 248 and Entry 97 of the Union List, the power to make laws on subjects not mentioned in the state or concurrent lists belongs entirely to Parliament. Always remember that distinction. Section 6, Essential Articles to Remember. This is your ultimate exam cheat sheet. Let's lock in everything we've covered today with a final structured review. We're grouping the foundational rules of the office right here to make them super easy to remember. Article 52 establishes the president. Article 53 grants executive power. 54 deals with their election, while 56 guarantees that 5-year term. If things go wrong, 61 is impeachment. For judicial mercy, 72 is the pardoning power. And 74 establishes the Council of Ministers, the body that aids and advises the president. Let's move to the second half of our cheat sheet. Here is your next group to memorize, covering those crucial legislative interactions and emergency triggers. Article 85 is summoning Parliament. 101 is the absolutely crucial assent to bills. 123 is the ordinance-making power. And then the big 3 emergencies: 352 for national, 356 for president's rule in states, and 360 for financial emergencies. Grouping them like this is going to make recall during a high-pressure exam so much easier. And that brings us to the end of our constitutional life cycle analysis. It really leaves us with a fascinating paradox to ponder as you prepare for your exams. I mean, how does a supreme commander wield immense authority, possessing the power to declare national emergencies and lead the military, yet remain permanently anchored by the very Constitution they swear to protect, constantly checked by the rigid math of a 2/3 impeachment majority? The framers of our Constitution designed a true masterpiece of balance. Keep studying these frameworks, trust the structure, and from all of us at MEGA Education, good luck with your political science exams.